Big news, Netflix has bought Warner Brothers. And that single move reshapes streaming, theatrical strategy, and the future of some of the biggest franchises ever. Instead of licensing WB titles, Netflix will own the IP, the sequels, and the creative roadmap once the deal closes in 2026 to 2027. Today we're running through 10 massive franchises that just became Netflix properties, what that means for fans, and which series could change the most under the streamer's control. Let's dive in. The Mortal Kombat movies have never been huge at the box office. The original 2 films and the 2021 reboot have barely made $200 million collectively. Yet, Mortal Kombat as a video game series remains highly lucrative. It's the best-selling fighting game franchise for a reason. With Mortal Kombat 2 coming in 2026 and plans for Mortal Kombat 3 already in motion, this could be a series that really pops through Netflix, whether it sticks in theaters or ultimately becomes a straight-to-streaming franchise that KOs its competition on Netflix's charts. While not as big at the box office, only making $624 million collectively, the Mad Max franchise remains a cult favorite piece of IP. George Miller's original films starring Mel Gibson, the 2014 relaunch starring Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron, and last year's prequel Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, all have their fans. Netflix now gets to say all of them are theirs. Should George Miller want to make another, the rights would likely now be tied to Netflix in some capacity. Whether the streamer with a history of funding lucrative projects from major directors would want to expand this series is unclear, as it is whether Miller would agree to do it without guarantees of a theatrical release. Netflix will also gain access to one of the best modern franchises with Denis Villeneuve's Dune series. While these movies were co-productions between WB and Legendary, the former's involvement gives the streaming giant a claim to the epic sci-fi series that has made over $1.1 billion at the box office. This will continue with Dune, Part 3 coming out in 2026. Since Netflix's WB deal likely won't be closed by then, the threequel will certainly still hit theaters as planned, if it doesn't come out earlier. Should the franchise continue on with Dune 4 and beyond, those will be titles for Netflix to fully oversee. Although the Ocean's franchise dates back to 1960, it was the 2001 reimagining from Steven Soderbergh that turned this series into a proper piece of IP. Soderbergh helmed a whole trilogy starring George Clooney, Brad Pitt, and Matt Damon, while a female spin-off came in 2018. Each of these movies now belongs to Netflix, as Warner Brothers distributed them all. This also means that future installments in the $1.4 billion heist franchise go to the streamer. Margot Robbie has been developing a prequel movie, with Bradley Cooper now set to be her co-star. Development on Ocean's 14 also made significant strides under Warner Brothers' leadership, and will become Netflix's release. 26 years after Keanu Reeves played Neo for the first time in the Wachowskis' production, all the Matrix movies will also now belong to Netflix, too. This includes the original trilogy of films as well as the modern relaunch, The Matrix Resurrections, which made WB over $1.7 billion at the box office. Like many of the franchises on this list, Netflix is in line to benefit from its continued expansion. Drew Goddard has been attached to a new entry since 2024, with Lana Wachowski producing. Nothing has come to fruition so far, but if it does, then this new Matrix movie will join the predecessors among Netflix's library. Toho's iconic creatures, Godzilla and Kong, can even be counted toward Netflix's library to some degree. Warner Brothers and Legendary have made 5 films in the MonsterVerse franchise, grossing $2.5 billion. A 6th, Godzilla x Kong, Supernova, is dated for 2027. Thanks to WB's involvement in these films, they will now belong to Netflix. Whether the franchise remains with the streamer's mega studio long-term or finds a new home with Legendary's other partners, Sony, Universal, and Paramount, is yet to be determined. But for now, Netflix gets everything from 2014's Godzilla to Supernova. Netflix can now also boast owning one of the biggest horror franchises to ever exist with The Conjuring. The sprawling spooky universe contains 4 Conjuring films, an Annabelle trilogy, and 2 The Nun films. Warner Brothers was even developing a Conjuring prequel movie and a TV show before the Netflix deal. With over $2.7 billion in box office receipts across 9 movies, the iconic, blockbuster horror series now rises to the top of what Netflix can offer audiences looking for a good scare. Netflix has already dipped its toes into the fantasy book realm by getting Greta Gerwig to redo the Chronicles of Narnia. But now, the streamer has an even bigger title in its library. The Middle-earth series, made up of Peter Jackson's 3 The Lord of the Rings films and 3 The Hobbit movies, is now Netflix's. This even includes the 2024 animated film The War of the Rohirrim, as well as Andy Serkis' upcoming The Hunt for Gollum. The previous 6 films earned over $5.8 billion at the box office, and the original trilogy, especially, remains beloved. Netflix now has those classics and so much more. Harry Potter is another goldmine from a franchise perspective that Netflix now gets to call its own. This includes the original 7 films starring Daniel Radcliffe and the 3 Fantastic Beasts movies starring Eddie Redmayne. They collectively made over $7 billion at the box office for Warner Brothers. Considering the overall popularity of the franchise, not to mention the Harry Potter TV show that will eventually air on Netflix, this is a prestige piece of IP for the streamer. Don't be surprised if Netflix even pushes to get a Harry Potter and the Cursed Child movie going before too long or finds other ways to expand it. Warner Brothers has been the sole distributor of almost every DC movie that's been made since Richard Donner's Superman, the movie. That quadrilogy starring Christopher Reeve, Michael Keaton's Batman movies, and Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight trilogy are now among the classic superhero movies under Netflix's control. The same is true for more modern takes on DC Comics characters. This includes the entire DC Extended Universe, ranging from Man of Steel and Justice League to Wonder Woman and Aquaman, which is why hope for the Snyderverse to be restored is alive once more. Standalone, Elseworlds, movies like Joker and The Batman moved to Netflix too. The streamer also now becomes the owner of everything James Gunn is doing with the DC Universe. Superman, Supergirl, Man of Tomorrow, and any other future films are part of the acquisition. With DC Studios part of Warner Brothers, the future of DC on the big screen, small screen, and even with comics rests with Netflix. All in all, Netflix now has nearly 40 released DC movies under its ownership that have collectively made over $16 billion at the box office, with more on the way. Plus, there are all the DCAU and direct-to-video/streaming animated movies that count too. And while we're talking about movies here, the range of TV shows is also massive. Netflix owning Warner Brothers is seismic. Theatrical plans, TV tie-ins, and the long tail of franchise storytelling all just got a major new gatekeeper. From gritty horror to cosmic fantasy, Netflix now has the keys to IP that can fill theaters and streams for decades. Which franchise excites you most under Netflix control, or scares you? Drop your hot takes and dream series ideas in the comments. If you like this breakdown, hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell. I've got more industry-shaking explainers coming. See you next time.